The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou also become weak as we?
But what do you think about the possibility? I mean, this would, in one sense, be pretty Trump-like to just say, "Yeah, I don't want to keep going with this. It's too costly to keep pursuing, a military solution here. So I'll basically just kind of walk away and just toss it off to the Europeans to try to figure out." I mean, do you think that's a possibility he could do, and what would that look like?
Well, I think it's a very strong possibility that we ultimately simply pack up our gear and pull out. I mean, I keep telling people, what did we do after 8 years in Vietnam? We left. It took another 2 years after we left for the regime to completely fall apart under assault from the North. But the point is, we had no good ideas, we had no solutions. We squandered American blood and treasure stupidly. There was never an attainable objective. And as a result, we looked ridiculous. But it was, for various reasons, not taken as evidence for our weakness and stupidity. And of course, we did recover from it. Now, what we're doing at the moment is we're beginning to look feckless because we have thrown everything that we possibly can, short of a nuclear weapon, against the Iranians, and it hasn't worked. So if you're sitting anywhere in the world, whether it's Brazil or China or Russia or anywhere else, you're looking at this and saying, oh, this is interesting. Clearly, we can defend ourselves against this. It's not as bad as we thought. So I think we're beginning to look weak. We're beginning to look weak.
Art thou also become weak as we?
Greetings from the east, the north, the south, and this wicked-ass west. The topic: did the Bible say America will become weak as the other nations? The questions: why do you think America is being exposed? Let's get into it. I am your host. I am the one.
Sometimes it's good for a bully to keep his mouth shut. One of the worst things that can happen to a bully is he is being exposed. When you threaten a person, you better be able to back it up. And if you're not able to back it up, just shut the hell up. One of the worst things in the world that can happen to a bully, again, is if that bully is exposed. America, worldwide, constantly bragging, I have the strongest military on the planet. Nobody is even close. And then it's time for you to prove it. And the whole world see that you are not as tough as you say you are. The Bible in Isaiah 14 makes it clear. All the nations will realize, have you become weak as us? We're seeing it in real time. All of these nations, it's almost like Eddie Murphy. I forgot the movie. Trading Places. He was in a jail cell. And he was bragging about how many cops he beat up. And the two brothers were sitting in the back. Yeah. He kept on saying that. And you can remember the movie. But he walked up to Eddie Murphy and picked him up off the ground and put him up against the jail, and made him prove how tough he was. Because once you just start to talk, eventually somebody's going to challenge you and say, hey, you know what? Prove it. You're sitting up here talking all that mess. Show me what you got. And if you don't deliver, the whole world begin to see you as weak. Again, Isaiah chapter 14, again, same thing. It's making a point to all the nations of the world. Have you become weak as us? And the whole world is looking at America side-eyed. Old black people would say, look at that person side-eyed. They will say that for a reason. Because they have boasted so much and now they cannot deliver. Let's go to the next clip.
The United States and Israel made a colossal blunder when they attacked Iran on February 28th. And we have no way of either getting out of this war or winning this war. And in fact, as you look at it, Iran holds almost all of the cards.
Nobody can beat us. No, we have the strongest military in the world by far. Not China, not Russia, not anybody. We have the best military equipment in the world, and we have the strongest military in the world.
President Trump just makes all these outrageous statements that you don't make if you're a rational legal person. I'm kind of left speechless by the whole thing.
I've never seen this, by the way. That
Yeah,
is pretty amazing.
What can you say? This goes on all the time. He just makes up these stories. He tells fairy tales.
You know, when they make these stories up, it'll be okay if it's only about him. But the thing is, he's going to put thousands of lives in danger, hundreds of thousands of lives in danger, millions of lives in danger. And he don't seem to care. You know, when your children go over to war and don't come back, and then you start to think about, why was my son or daughter over there in the first place? And then the anger sets in. And guess what? Him and his family is making a lot of money. Lots and lots and lots of money. So your children's lives are expendable. The thing is, he don't care. Now, who knows how long this war is going to last? You know, he said earlier, a couple weeks. That 1 week turned to 2 weeks, and 2 weeks turned to 4 weeks. And those months are going to turn to years. I think they spent 20 years in Afghanistan. For what? You know, 8 years in Iraq, maybe 8 years in Vietnam. I mean, come on now. Endless wars, war after war after war, lives being lost. And who cares? It seems like the people at the top don't care. And the family members, they have to mourn for a lifetime. And the veterans that come back with injuries, it's almost like when they get back, the country don't want to help them with their health issues. And then people begin to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to participate. It's not worth it. Let's go to the next clip.
This is a giant loss for the United States of America and Israel. We lost. Let me put it differently. We haven't lost because the war is not over with yet, but we are clearly losing the war. And nobody can tell a story about how we turn things around and actually win the war. But the Iranians are in the driver's seat, and launching those missiles at Israel at this juncture is just evidence of that. But that's one issue. The other issue, one could argue it's an even bigger issue, is can we walk away? I mean, have you thought about this, Danny? How do we walk away from this? I mean, I think the best way to walk away is just to leave the region. Just take everything and go home.
Art thou also become weak as we?
Reported on Reuters this morning that he is threatening a NATO exit. And he was pretty strong language here. He says Trump told Reuters on Wednesday that he would state in an address to the nation later in the day that he was absolutely considering withdrawing the U.S. from NATO. I'll be discussing my disgust with NATO, he said of the speech. Asked if he was thinking about pulling out, he said, oh, absolutely, without question. Wouldn't you do that if you were me? President Trump's remarks came just hours after his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, declined to reaffirm U.S. commitment to NATO's collective deterrence, meaning our Article 5 obligations.
You know, the Bible prophecy has made it clear. The prophecy has made it clear that the nations of the world is going to realize, one, have you become weak as us? They're going to realize that. And number two, America will turn against the European nations. That's in Bible prophecy. So let me go to my final clip and let the Bishop of IUIC explain this. I heard this video more than 10 years ago, and it's reflecting true today as we see Bible prophecy being fulfilled. Let's go to the final clip.
Revelation 17, verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
The angels, come on.
And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
These shall hate who, brothers? Who's the whore, brothers? America. The European Union shall hate America. Go ahead.
And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Go ahead.
For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Now let's be realistic. What city reigns over the kings of the earth? What nation reigns over the kings of the earth? It's undeniable. They have this organization called the United Nations. But in reality, there's no such thing as the United Nations. It's called the United States.